Welcome to this video. This video is all about creating a end-to-end data analytics project from scratch. And we are doing this all live with a practical hands-on and with a real-time dataset on road accidents. And this dataset has approximately close to 6 lakhs records, which is 500,000. And we are going to learn every aspect and life cycle of road accident dashboard. And this is how our dashboard would look like. So it has got 2 pages. Our dashboard should be able to tell us how many accident has occurred over a period of time, what was the weather condition, whether the road type was dark or it was on a daylight, and the road surface, was it a dry or was it a wet road surface. And it should also be able to interact, not just building a dashboard, it should also have an ability to interact and show relevant insights based on the clicks, right? So let's go ahead and learn how do we build a dashboard something like this from scratch. So before we build a live project, I wanted to show you how the life cycle of this entire project will be. To start with, we need a data set, and to make it simple to understand all the freshers and working professionals, I have kept the data set as a flat file. So first activity we'll be doing is data ingestion, which means we're going to load all our required data sets into our lakehouse. And then we will be doing data cleaning. So we cannot use the dataset as is, so we have to make some transformations. We have to clean the dataset. So we'll be doing the same, and then we are going to push the changes after cleaning our dataset. The necessary required data information will be pushed to the reporting layer. That's where our PowerBI will come into picture, and using PowerBI desktop we'll create some meaningful charts and visualizations. And finally, we'll also see how we can publish these reports and give access to our end users. Okay, let's go ahead and start our project. So I'll go ahead and open a folder here. So I was talking about a data source, right? Since we are gonna create some meaningful dashboard, meaningful insights about how this road accidents has happened, what is the reason behind these accidents, we need a data. So in today's example, my data set is in a CSV text file, which is a comma separated file. The size of this data set is around 90 MB, which means it has close to around 1 million records. So it is pretty large amount of data which we have today for today's exercise. Now we are not going to use this file as is. So we are going to create a proper data analytics platform to ensure we process this data correctly. So before we do that, I want to show you how this data looks like in this file. So let me go ahead and open this file. Okay, so take a look at the columns which are available. So there are plenty of dimensions and measures which are available in this particular data set. We have a date column which tells us when that accident has occurred, what was the area where this accident took place, how many vehicles got collided, what was the weather condition behind it, what was the type of this vehicle. So if you look at it, approximately we have around close to 6 lakh records, close to like 500,000 of records we have. You cannot go row by row and figure out what are the insights available in this, right? So it is large amount of data set which cannot be just like that given some meaningful information. What we are going to do now is we are not going to touch this text file. So we're going to leave this as is, and we are choosing Microsoft as our data analytics platform for this particular example. So I wanted to now create a lakehouse, which is one of the most popular workload in Microsoft Fabric. So already we have a workspace. So let's go ahead and click on new item. And first I'm going to create a lakehouse. So to keep it simple, think of lakehouse a platform. It is basically, this is the place where you can store your data. And the question here is, whenever you have structured, unstructured, semi-structured, any format of data, and you want to save that, that's when we are going to create a lakehouse. So what we are going to give, we need some name to be provided for this lakehouse. So we're going to call this as IOPS, so intelligent operations, and this is being created in the current selected workspace. So all I'm going to do is just go ahead and click on create. So this is going to take like a couple of seconds to create a lakehouse. Just to repeat, remember, Lakehouse is nothing but you can store any format of data. You can store images, you can store video, you can store relational data, you can store JSON, PDF, any amount, any type of data, and any amount of data can be stored on Lakehouse. There are other workloads, then you will come to know the difference about it. So the moment you create a Lakehouse, since this is a brand new Lakehouse which we got created, you can see already there is a schema available here, DBO. This is the default schema, and then there is another section called files. Now what we are going to do, we will upload the text file which is our data source in this particular Lakehouse. So how do we do that? First we are going to click on this files, upload, and I'm selecting upload files. And I have to define the path. So where is that file available? So let's go to that file. This is the file I have. So I'm going to click on accident data. All I have to do is click on upload. So now with this approach, you're keeping all your data source file sets, everything in a safe place. Tomorrow, if you want to do some troubleshooting or you want to do some exercise on how many records you have, your source data is kept, in a very safe environment. We are not going to touch, modify, or make any changes to this particular file. So we are just loading the data and keeping it as is. So now you can see that file has been loaded successfully. Now what I'm going to do is we are going to create a table on top of this file. So how do we create a table? So I'm going to click on this 3 dots and say load to tables, and I say create a new table. So by default the schema is DBO. So I'm just going to give some name of table where this data will be stored. So all I will do is, as a best practice, make sure we will replace all space with underscore. So my table name is accident underscore data. Since it is a CSV file, it is comma separated, already selected. All we have to do now is click on load. And remember, this is a 87 MB file. It has close to around 1 million records, 500,000 of records. And this activity, what it is happening now, the records present in the CSV file is automatically getting loaded inside a table, which means once it is loaded, you can go ahead and write SQL queries. So those who have already learned SQL, we will be using select command, which is to read the data and slice and dice and see what exactly is available in our table. So let's take a look at how we can do it. Sometimes the table which you have created, it will not show up. You can just quickly refresh it. And now you can see the data has been loaded from file. It has been converted automatically into a relational table. So when I expand this, I can see all the column names. Know that we are not doing any data cleaning activity. This is part of our data ingestion, which is the first step of our data analytics project. Now the question is, why do we need to do data cleaning, right? So the query is running. You can see, since it has large amount of data, so it took around 20 to 30 seconds to query. And you can see the output of the data is also available over here. Now the question is, why do we need to do data cleaning? So you take a look at this as an example. We have loaded this data, table is also ready, but if you look at this column, this is an accident date column, but the data type of this column is a text. Ideally, the data type of this column should be date. So that's a mistake. And if you look at a few more other examples, here there is a spelling mistake. It should be fatal, F-A-T-A-L, but there is a spelling error on this particular column. These are some examples of data transformation. Depending upon the complexity of the project, the different type of transformation and different type of data cleaning activities you will be doing it. Now, we are not touching anything on the Lakehouse. This particular table, we don't touch it. What we will do is, we will transform all this data and store it in a separate place. We don't want any source data to be modified. So we'll keep this as is. We are going to now do data cleaning, and then the result, the output, we are going to store it in data warehouse. Now you will be having a doubt, why do we need a warehouse? When you have a warehouse, you can build a relational semantic model. You can connect multiple tables, you can define relationships, and you will see that in a while. So from here, what we are going to do, we are going to start our data cleaning activity. Now there are two ways you can do the data cleaning activity. The first step is, if you have knowledge on SQL, you can go ahead and write SQL commands in open notebook, and you can write some commands over there, or else you can use a drag and drop interface and you can do that as well. So how do we do it? So let's go back to our workspace now. So I want all my semantic model to be created in warehouse. Know that major difference between lakehouse and warehouse. In warehouse, you cannot store any unstructured data. Only relational data, structured data can be stored. So since our data is already converted into relational structured, so we are going to use our warehouse. How do we create a warehouse? It is really simple. We click on new item and here you can search for warehouse. I'm going to select this one. We need to give some name. So I'm going to give the name as again IOPS WH, which means this is an intelligent operations warehouse. We're going to click on create. Again, this will take a couple of seconds for your warehouse to be created. Now you can take a look at it. Very similar to how Lakehouse got created, we have a very similar user interface for our warehouse as well. Now the major step here is the data cleaning activity. In order to clean the data, we are going to use Dataflow. Remember, Dataflow is really simple. It is a drag and drop feature where you can clean your data. And it's really simple. So what we'll do, we'll first go ahead and click on Dataflow Gen2. This is asking us for a name. So let's go ahead and give the name as ETL. Let's say we are doing some ETL related transformation. I'm just giving some name. We don't want any Git integration for now. We'll just go ahead and click on create. Again, this will take a couple of seconds for the data flow to be created. Based on the recent update from Microsoft, only the Gen 2 data flows can be created. Ideally, as a best practice, avoid using Gen 1. Gen 1 is a old version of data flow. So this is the latest version of data flow. So data flows are simple. This will help you to do data cleaning. So now we need to clean the data, but where is our data? Our data, remember, it's in Lakehouse now. So how do we get the data from Lakehouse? So I'm going to click on this option, get data from another source. And here we are going to select our data source. I'll click on view more, select Microsoft Fabric, and I'm going to select Lakehouse. Right? So it is asking for the credentials. So I'm going to use my organizational credentials to connect to that Lakehouse. We'll go ahead and click on next. These are all the different types of Lakehouse which is already there. So now we have to search for the Lakehouse which we created. So simply type IOPS. Sometimes it won't display. So you can go ahead and expand your workspace name. So my workspace name is Demo 2026. You can go ahead and expand, and now you can see our warehouse is getting reflected over here. So my data is available and it is stored in this warehouse. That is what I'm trying to tell. And then all we will do is we'll go ahead and select the table for which we need to do data cleaning. If you have multiple tables, you can select that. As of now, I have a table which is available here. Only this table I want to clean. So I'm going to select only that and just click on create. All right. So those who have already worked on Power BI, you feel like Power Query user interface, because this user interface is almost a replica of Power Query. How you will add steps in Power Query. If you're familiar with Power BI desktop, it is the same screen but with more advanced features. At this point of time, also note that we are not using any softwares so far. Everything is everything is done right inside the browser. You don't need any additional tools or softwares to do this entire exercise of building a data analytics project. Now, what we have done is we connected the data and we can see the sample of our data is already available over here. As a first step, my requirement was I want to change the data type of this column. Accident underscore date is showing as ABC, which is nothing but it's a string data type. It's a text. So we don't want that. So we'll simply click on ABC and select date over there. Now, the moment I select date over there, you are seeing some common errors. Some of the dates this data flow is not able to recognize. You can see there is an error over here. This is because of the format. So we're going to click on the settings icon, and here we are going to define the format of our date. So in India, we have a habit of putting D, which is day, month, year. So it is not able to recognize that. So we'll just scroll down a little bit and we're going to select English India. So let's search for English India. It's over here. Now it able to understand that the typical formats in this particular region is these are the ones. Let's go ahead and click on OK. Now you can see we don't have any more errors. This is how data transformation is done, or data cleaning activities are done. So what we have done two things. We have changed the data type. We have also defined the format of our data. You can also see a calendar symbol, which means now it is assigning a correct data type for our table. The next activity we have is, if you look at this, there are some spelling mistakes. So we're going to click on load more and we'll see what other types of values do we have. We have three types of accident severity. First one is slightly severe, serious and fatal, but there is a spelling mistake for fatal. How do we fix it? So what we are going to do now is we are going to right click on this column and then we have an option which says replace values. So we'll just type wherever it is FETAL, replace with FATAL, and we are going to click on OK. So think about, if you have already used Excel, SQL, we are simply doing find and replace function. We are finding a keyword and replacing with something else. And the entire transformation activity which you are doing in this data flow is a one-time activity, which means even if you have a new data coming in, you don't have to repeat this step. Every time when Power Query or your data flow runs, it takes care of these steps automatically. Likewise, you can scroll on the right side before you move to the next step. As a best practice, ensure the data types are correct for all of your columns, especially for the number columns, or if you have some decimal values, you have to even take a look at that. For example, this is latitude. So maybe I wouldn't require this column anywhere in the reporting layer. So I'm going to click on right click and I would say remove this column latitude. For now, I don't need this column. Right click, again remove this column. This is another best practice. This will help us reducing the size of our data model. Unnecessary columns, if we remove, the performance of our data model will be much faster. Let's assume for now, considering we have all types of audience, that these are some basic examples of data cleaning activity. We are now done with all the data cleaning part of it. The next step, what is the next step? We are going to push this data and store it somewhere. Similarly, how we have done previous exercise where we loaded the CSV file to Lakehouse, whatever changes we have done to this particular data cleaning activity, we need to store these results in some place. Now what we'll do, we will again use our data warehouse which we created and we'll save this as a table over there. And whenever you do it for data flow, please don't use the default option because it will not allow you to define whether you want to append the data or replace it. So simply go ahead and click on cancel. And you can click on this plus icon and add a destination. So by default, I can select my default destination is this IOPS WH warehouse. And let me click cancel. Again, click on the plus icon and select warehouse. Click on next. And here we are connecting to our IOPS warehouse. And here we are going to create a table accident underscore data, which is getting created. You can see here we have selected this as a new table and then we'll click on next. And you can verify the data mapping, especially on the data types, all the mapping is done. You have two options over here. The method is update or replace. Replace means it will remove all the existing data and add a new one. Append means it will not touch the existing data. So for now, I'm going to make this as a replace and then click on save settings. Right now we are done with our entire activity for our ETL. So all we have to do now is publish. We'll go ahead and click on publish. Now whenever you go ahead and click on publish, you can see this is an icon for our data flow and it has automatically initiated this job, which means now what it is doing is it is pulling all the data from Lakehouse, whatever is available in Lakehouse, transform it as per our requirement which we have defined in our data flow. So transformation will happen and finally save the results in our warehouse. That's what the activity is all about. So I'll go ahead and pause the video for a couple of seconds till this activity is finished and we'll resume it back. And while we are doing that, know that how do we know that this is running? You will see there is a loading icon happening over here. As long as this is loading, it means that activity is running. Let's see you soon. Okay, so looks like our activity has been successfully completed. So now how do we see that whether it is successful or not? You can go to our warehouse. So we have selected our IOPS warehouse. You can expand, since we created in DBO schema, we can expand this. Under tables, now you can see there is a new table got created. As we mentioned earlier, accident underscore data. So this table got created. I'm just going to click on this table, and on the right side you will see a preview of this data. Since we loaded this data in warehouse for the first time, you can also verify the changes. You can see that spelling mistake was fixed. Data type for this accident column is also fixed, and we can see a calendar symbol, so data type is also correct. And we removed those two columns which says latitude and longitude, so that is also gone over here, right? Now here the data load activity is done. So what is the next step? So before we move further, we will just go ahead and write some basic queries. So we'll go ahead and click on new SQL query. So in warehouse, you can also write SQL commands like you write SQL commands in other SQL databases. It's the same syntax, almost 80% of the syntax is same. So for now, let's say I would do select star from accident data, and we'll go ahead and run this. Let's see if we get the expected results out of it. Our results are working as expected. If I say select count star, if I want to see how many records do we have in this table, you can see approximately close to around 6 lakhs of records are available. Now I can also say select star, and I just want to know top 100. You can see we got our top 100 records. Now I'm going to modify my query and say select distinct, which is nothing but show me all the unique records available in a column by name accident severity. We'll go ahead and click on run. You can see these are the 3 severity values we have in this table. Now what we are going to do is, using SQL, that's the benefit of warehouse, it supports ACID properties, which means you can create, update, delete, insert, you can do any type of activity on a warehouse. Okay, there are limitations on Lakehouse. Note that you cannot do all these ACID properties are not available in Lakehouse. We'll go ahead and create a table called Spock, right? So whenever we are creating a table, also as a best practice, specify the schema name. And what we are going to do, we are going to create a table called Spock, and we are going to define the person who would be helping us for any accidents which are reported under each of this severity. So first I would mention the same column name, accident severity, and the data type of this column is varchar, so which is a text column, and it can have 100 characters inside this. Then we will have, let's say, manager name, the manager who is responsible for any accidents reported for this specific severity. Now again, it's a text data type, and we are going to create a new table, and we'll go ahead and click on run. And you can see that new table is also created. Now we are going to insert some records in this table. Since this table is empty, we are inserting these records. So we'll say insert in this table and the values which we need to be inserted. The first is accident type. So let's go ahead and run this query again. The first accident type is fatal. Whenever we have records where accident is reported as fatal, the person who is responsible is, let's say, Padma K, right? Then whenever the accident is reported as serious, that's when Rajesh is responsible for handling such cases. And finally, if we have any cases where it is reported as slight severity, then we are going to report this as Anup Kumar. So he would be responsible for that. Now what we are doing is, in typical data analytics project, that's how you get a mapping. Let's say somebody gave you the mapping, and you are now creating a static table which holds these kind of information. Now how do we know whether these records got inserted? Again, we'll just say select star from, and we're gonna call this table, and verify if the records are available. Right? Know that in this activity, what we have done is we just created a table, inserted some records, and we are reading it. We have not done the mapping yet. I hope this particular also gives you an example of how to write SQL commands in Microsoft Fabric platform. So if you are a data analyst, you should be learning how to analyze the data, how to write SQL commands, how to transform the data. So now let's move to the next exercise. So now we want to create a report. So maybe we got two tables. We are good to go and create some reports using Power BI. So before we go ahead and create a report, let me go ahead and enable. There is an option called new semantic model. So we're going to click on new semantic model. And that's the benefit of warehouse. With the right inside the Fabric warehouse, you can create a semantic model without any work to be done on Power BI desktop. So now I'm going to select a semantic model with these two tables, and we need to give some name. So let's go ahead and give the name as road accidents. Road accident is the name of our semantic model, and these two tables are available in the semantic model. We'll go ahead and click on confirm. And all this activity is happening on a single workspace. So know that any sensitivity labels you are applying on your lakehouse or warehouse, it gets automatically inherited to all the other child objects. So let's go ahead and wait for some time till this semantic model gets created. Looks like the semantic model is created successfully. How do we see? We'll go ahead and get inside our workspace, and you can see this particular semantic model is automatically created. Now, as a first step, we'll go ahead and click on open the semantic model, and here there's an option called open semantic model. And what we will be doing now is we are going to map these two tables. Generally, if you are from Power BI background, you do this relationship mapping in Power BI desktop, but that's the power of Microsoft Fabric. You can do all your relationships mapping right inside your semantic model warehouse. You don't even have to use your Power BI desktop. Now, how do we do this? Know that we are currently in the view mode. We'll go ahead and change this to edit mode. And there's a surprise for you in this particular scene, so observe this very carefully. Let me go ahead and close this. Now I know that there is a common column between these two tables is accident severity. So what I'll be doing is I'll simply go ahead and drag and drop on the same column name. You see, if you're from Power BI background, this is the same relationship mapping screen. So what we are saying, from Spock table, we are joining these two. On these two columns, it's one-to-many relationship, so it's really smart. It has auto detected, and since we have an option here which says make this relationship active, I'll go ahead and click on save. Now these two tables are connected to each other, which means you can drag and drop any of these columns and use in your reports. The another surprise which you have for this particular activity is you can even create a calculated measures. You can write formulas as well. So let's say, for an example, I want to write a formula. So I'll click on new measure, and let's say I want to write a formula. So before I do that, let me click cancel. I want the formula to be residing in this table. So I'll click on new measure, and let's say I want to know total accidents which we have received. I can do this by writing a function saying count rows from accident data table. All right. So right inside this screen, you are writing a DAX measure, which will tell you total number of records available in this data set. The name we have given is total number of accidents. Similar to this, let's go back to our warehouse screen, and wherever it is fatal, we want to know how many such accidents which are reported as fatal, serious, and slice. So how do we store all that information? So let me go back. So we will click on this table. Since we are in viewing mode, we'll go ahead and click on editing. Know that it gets automatically saved, so you don't have to click on save, which means the measure I have created, you can see that calculator symbol, that measure is auto saved. Similar to this, I'm going to click on another new measure, and I'll say fatal. What is fatal? So we will go ahead and write a formula for this. We'll say calculate total records on this column, and the scenario is if the accident severity is fatal, right? Ensure the brackets are closed. We'll go ahead and click on enter, right? So this is the formula. What it will do, it will filter the column fatal and tell me how many records do we have where the accidents are reported as fatal. Now I'm quickly going to copy this to save some time and click on new measure, and here instead of fatal we will call it as serious. Similar to fatal, we want to know how many accidents are reported which are called as serious, so that will be saved over there. And lastly, one more which is again for slight. Wherever the accident is reported the severity as slight, we are going to save that as well. So now you can see wherever you are seeing this calculator symbol, those are the DAX measures you are creating right inside your semantic model, right inside your browser without using any additional tools. And this has been automatically saved, right? Now we are done with the data cleaning activity. We are also done with creating a semantic model, which is nothing but a relationship data model. Now that is the last step. Last step is to create a beautiful Power BI dashboard to explore some hidden insights. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so I have opened Power BI desktop and I have opened one of the existing template. We are going to work on this template and add some meaningful insights to our dashboard. So before we do that, I wanted to generally have a habit of create a landing page for my reports. So I'll call this as home page, and let's give some meaningful text for our home page. When somebody by default access to our dashboard, by default they would come to this particular landing page. So what I have already done is written in information about what this dashboard is all about. So I'll simply go to my canvas background. I would select a landing page and ensure it is set as fit, right? So basically I have pretty much done all the time taking work, which is nothing but explaining what this dashboard is all about and what are the features of this particular dashboard. So I'm going to move this in the front. So this is my first page. From here people can navigate to additional pages. Now we have created a semantic model, right? How do we connect that semantic model to our Power BI? So we'll go ahead and click on home. Since this is already a published semantic model, so we'll simply go ahead and click on One Lake catalog and choose Power BI semantic models. So I'm going to click on this. Now you can see that all the semantic models are available here, and the one which I created is road accidents, right? So you will go ahead and click on connect, and hopefully we should be able to see all the work we have done earlier right inside Power BI desktop. So now it is asking us, it is successfully able to connect. What do you actually need? So we'll go ahead and say we need everything from road accidents, and we'll go ahead and click on submit. It says there is a potential risk. We'll just go ahead and click on OK as an exception. Know that all the published semantic models would get connected as a direct query. Okay, as a first step, what we will be doing is we are going to verify if our data model, semantic model is loaded correctly or not. You can see that all the measures which we created is displaying correctly, and you can even go ahead and click on table view, and we'll click on accident data. Looks like it is not able to show us the preview of the data. That is okay. So we'll go ahead and click on table view. Right now, what is the first step? So we'll go to our summary page, and here on the top KPIs we are going to display. First we are going to display how many accidents do we have in this data set. In order to do that, we'll go ahead and click on format this visual. I will remove that sales value there, and I'm going to call this number of accidents. So let's go ahead and see if the data is getting loaded. You can see a loading icon over there, and you can see the number is also there, which is close to 6 lakh, very similar to that SQL query which we wrote. It's the same one, right? So now we are going to format, and we are going to change the title first. We'll call this as accidents, right? And below, if you look at, it's a very big number, right? It's not ideal to display that number in that format, so we'll say display units and make it to millions. So since you haven't defined the decimal places, it says 1 million, so we're going to display one decimal point. So the close to, we have 0.7 million accidents in this particular data set. Please don't worry about the icons. As a developer, you can go ahead and change the icons relevant to those KPIs and metrics, right? The next thing, same exercise, we are going to do it where we are going to display how many fatal accidents did we had. So we'll go ahead and remove the existing field from this KPI and add fatal, right? So while the data is getting loaded, I'm going to quickly change the title and make it as fatal. So which means this is showing us how many fatal accidents we had. Since the number is small, I'm keeping it as is. Then similar to fatal, we also had serious, how many serious accidents we had. So I'm going to remove this, add serious as a formula. So this will tell me how many serious accidents we had. This number is slightly bigger. We'll go ahead and say, why don't you show this number in thousands format. So we had 88,000 accidents which are mentioned as serious. So let's go ahead and write serious. And similarly, last one is slight. How many accidents are reported where the severity was mentioned as slight. We'll go ahead and pull that DAX column and look at number of accidents. I think compared to any other category, this one had highest, and it's around 5 lakhs. Since it is 5 lakhs, we'll say show this in millions format with one decimal value. We'll modify the title. Instead of customers, we'll call this as slight, right? So overall, you can take a look at how our dashboard is taking a shape. And I don't have any more measures, but if you have, in case, we can go ahead and add that. Since I don't have it, so I'm going to remove this one, this KPI icon over here, right? Now we can add a filter at a later point of time to slice and dice the data set. Now we'll go ahead and work on creating some meaningful visuals. So stay tuned and let's get started with creating visuals. Before we get started, so far, if you think like this entire video has been valuable and it was able to help you in some or the other way, please, I would request you to subscribe to this channel. Please leave a like. Okay, let's go ahead and start our activity on creating visualization. First thing is, we'll be creating a trend analysis to show how many accidents do we have over a period of time. To do this, I'm going to pull month name on x-axis, and my accident data, I'm going to also have number of accidents. So we will go ahead and quickly enable data labels so that we clearly see what is the number we are trying to represent. You can see the maximum number of accidents have occurred during November, and you can see the lowest we have is February, right? Now you can write some DAX formulas to make it like same period last year and all of that, but I'm just keeping it really simple for now for the sake of demo. Generally what I do is I have a habit of making this line chart look even better, so we'll go ahead and enable this as smooth so that it looks better, right? So this is our first chart. So make sure when we are changing our title, so especially the line chart, the title is not correct, so we'll go ahead and click on format, and we would call this as trend analysis. And since this is by month, so the subtitle has to be changed, so we'll go ahead and give the name as by month, right? So this is the first chart. With this, our business will be able to quickly see that how these accidents are distributed across over a period of time. The second activity which we'll be doing now is we have a column. Let's say we have a column called vehicle type, we have a column called road type. Let's see how many I have already added road type on this chart. It says that maximum number of accidents have occurred on single carriageway. Either we can represent this in a donut. It has approximately around more than 5 values. We can also remove road type and see if road surface also has too many values, and same goes for vehicle, lighting condition. I'm trying to search for a field which has less than 5 values. So you can take a look at this, it has lot many, and whether it is urban or regular. Yeah, so perfect. So we have added this column which says whether the accident has occurred in urban area or it's occurred in a rural area. Typically we have like 3 values over there. Maybe some records are blank, that's why we are seeing that. So what we are able to observe from this insight is it says the maximum number of accidents have occurred from urban. So we'll also enable detailed labels so that people can actually see it. And likewise we will modify the title and we'll call this as accidents. Since everything is in uppercase in this template, we're going to keep the same, accidents by area, right? Whether it is we'll call this as zone, whether it is urban zone or is it a rural zone, right? So with this they will also be able to understand what's happening over here. Now I'm going to quickly copy and paste this chart and put it in bottom, and we'll also derive few more insights. So I'm gonna reduce the width. Okay, so here what we are going to do, we are also going to pull up another column which says road surface, right? So first thing is we'll convert this from a line chart and we'll make it to a bar chart. We'll remove month name and we are also going to add road surface. So which means it is able to tell us when the accident has actually happened, whether the surface of the road is dry, was it rainy or something like that, right? So let's go ahead and modify road surface, right? Now we can make it stack by adding like more details to it. For an example, we have got road surface. We can split the road surface along with another column. Probably the column is accident severity, right? So we'll go ahead and click on this chart. We'll add the legend as accident severity. So that will give us a split, right? We can convert this into this format, so that will give us a split, or even we can convert into this one. If you want to add more details, you can do that. For now we can keep it simple, and we also have a subtitle, and for this project and specifically to this visual we may not require a subtitle, so let's go ahead and turn it off, right? So by road surface, maybe it is trying to tell us that maximum number of accidents has happened when the road surface is dry. And similar to that, we'll also create another insights probably, and we'll also report on the weather condition. So to do that, we will go ahead and quickly copy this visual, place it right next to it, and this time we are going to choose a different visual. So this time we'll go ahead and convert this into tree map. And when you're doing this, make sure you have clicked on the visual and then do tree map. And we would say instead of road surface, it is weather conditions. You can see our maximum number of accident has happened when it was fine, no high winds, but still the accident has occurred over there. That's what the insight is all about. Now we can also reduce the space to something like this, and like you can design accordingly, or we can even push a little bit ahead on the top, and we can push our pie visual on a little bit on the right side, so as it has a lot of space. So let's go ahead and reduce the size of that, and this guy we can go ahead and push over here, right? So before we do that, let me go ahead and click the whole visual and then make sure we are doing that, and also make sure the alignment is also correct. So there is a lot of space between these two, so we're going to reduce the space, right? So by road surface, we got it by accident zone, and this one is basically based on the weather condition. So we'll quickly go ahead and change the title to weather condition. All right. Similar to this, we got road type as well. So let's go ahead and quickly copy this visual, place it over here. Let's place it over here, and we're gonna increase the size a little bit. Similarly here also we can increase the size a little bit. Now let's go ahead and make this meaningful. Now we are going to remove road surface condition, and we're gonna add road type. We got the road type, and we can split this, right? When we are splitting this, we are also going to add something called light condition, and then we'll convert this into stack, right? You can see that maximum accident has actually happened in daylight. However, they can actually further drill it down, but it is able to provide us some insights over there, right? So this is how we have come to a situation where our report would look something like this. Now we have another column called district area. So what we would be doing is, let me go to this page, and here we're going to add a detailed view. We will quickly add a slicer, which will basically give us an option. Let me undo this. We'll go ahead and add a slicer, and the slicer would be, let's say, based on the district and area, and district and area would be like this, and people can actually filter for a specific district. We can make this as a drill down or a drop down. So we're going to reduce the size of this and push it on the extreme right side. In that way, so whenever somebody is interested to see the data for a specific area, specific district, let's say for area called Ashfield. So let's see, the moment I clicked on Ashfield, you can take a look at how the number of records got reduced. We had only 11 accidents, all of them were fatal, and you can see the number of records by month on a monthly basis, how many we had, and that's how our data will automatically get filtered if I undo it. And we also have another glitch here. People are able to select only one value at a time. So we're gonna go to our slicer settings, selection, and we'll say multi-select. So the multi-select is already on, so we're gonna press control and see. That's how you can select like multiple values, right? So with this, we got our first slicer also in place. Now the next thing we would be doing is, we'll go ahead and add a table so that people can actually navigate from this page to another page. To do that, we'll just quickly go to this page, and we are going to remove all the columns. And let's say I'm going to add a column which says index. Index is a unique key for each of the accidents we had. And what we are going to do is, for each of that index, we'll display what was the date of accident, and then we'll add all the columns which are necessary. What was the vehicle type, what was the weather condition, whether it was urban, and similar to that, how many accident vehicles were involved. Then we would also add, let's not add the month name, we would add light conditions. So we are making sure all the dimensions are available in this particular table visual, right? So we're going to increase the size a little bit. With this, we will have all the details available. Just know that there is a timestamp getting displayed for the date column, so we can go and set the format, and we would say that we want the format to be only displaying date. We don't want the timestamp. And similarly, we require a filter for this column, so we'll go ahead and add accident severity so that they can filter it over here. But for this section, we'll go ahead and remove this. So we're gonna remove all the objects which are placed on the top, because we can easily copy all the elements from the top, right? So we don't have to again build everything from scratch for this page. We have already built everything on the summary page, so we'll go ahead and quickly copy and paste it. So that's the benefit of Power BI. There's an option here to copy and paste. So let me go ahead and remove this icon, this one, and this one. So all these objects are grouped, so the only option is to select, remove all of them one at a time. We can do this even with selections. You can select all and do it. The first thing we would be doing is the name of this text. So let's go ahead and close it. So this particular object, it's a title, so we will call this as accident log. Okay, and then we're going to reduce the size of this, and similarly the table can also be lifted up. So we will go ahead and select this table, lift it up, and from summary we will copy all the elements. So when you're doing it, make sure all the elements are properly selected and ensure you have pressed Ctrl Shift and then Ctrl C. You can come back and paste it over here. We'll click on sync visuals. Any value getting selected there will get automatically selected here as well. So we got objects here, so we'll select all of them as the alignment has broken down a little bit. So we're gonna click on this, make sure these guys are coming just right below this, and then one object which has not got copied, it's the blank canvas, so we're gonna paste this. Okay, let me paste this, and then we're gonna click on format. We'll say send it to backward. Right, so more or less we got all the elements to be added to our detailed page as well. So we call this as detailed view. Right, so we got our detailed view. So let me undo. Remove it. Make sure we click on format, send it to back. Let's go ahead and remove this. I don't know, I think there is something which happened and it got duplicated. So let's go ahead and remove this quickly. Right, so the only thing I'm checking is on the alignment, so I just ensure that this is only falling in between this area. All right, and similar to this, we're gonna reduce and make sure there is a proper space provided over here. Yeah, so now what we are also going to do is, since we have this, I'm gonna just for time being remove some of the columns so that we can get rid of the scroll bar. We're gonna increase the size a little bit. The index column says it's not able to recognize, so maybe in the previous workflow we can add that as a number and try to modify the data type. As of now it is selected for serious, so let it be for all. Now we will rename this to detailed view. From summary, we want people to be able to drag and drop to the other area as well. So to do this, we are also going to add this field month name on the drill through. So when we add this, from here you will be able to drill it to detailed view. So over here, make sure that column also exists. Before we do that, let's verify even if the column does not exist, do we get the option to drill down? No, you can see that when we do a right click, the option is not available because the column is missing from detailed view. So to do that, to enable this column, we will go ahead and add month name. Since month name is from a different column, so we're gonna go ahead and click on add month name. So we're gonna just reduce the size a little bit. Similar to this, we're gonna reduce the column name over here, and then we'll come back to summary, and now we'll click on this particular value which says March. And when we click on March, and we have also given the drill down, and then when we do a right click, still the option is not visible. Let's go ahead and verify why is that. Let me go ahead and add month name over here as well, and let's verify now. We'll again click on March. We'll go ahead and click on March. You can see drill through option has got enabled. So now I have clicked on March. When I click on detailed view, you can see only March data is coming up, right? So that's the benefit. And the last piece of our Power BI dashboard is interactions. So whenever you are enabling interactions, make sure you don't miss up this step. So we'll click on this one visual at a time, and under format, edit interactions, make sure everything is set as filter. We don't want it to highlight, it should be selected as filter. Same goes for other charts. So let's go ahead and click on edit interactions. So make sure everything is set as filter. So I'll show you a moment. If you are new to Power BI, why this step is essential. So we'll again go ahead and click on format, edit interactions, click on this visual, make sure everything is set to filter, format, and stop it. Likewise, the edit interaction for road surface, we click on it, make sure it is set to filter, format, and edit it. And finally, we have a last visual. We'll go ahead and click on road surface. Ideally, the name of this is road type. Let's go ahead and change it to road type. Okay, and make sure you click on edit interactions and it is set to filter. Why if you don't do that, it just highlights. For an example, let's say an end user is looking into this dashboard. They are interested only to see for dry road surface. The moment I click on dry, you see how all the other visuals are changing. Let me unselect. You can see how the line chart, which means now all the other visuals are showing you the relevant data only for the selected value, which is dry. Or I can even select like snow. Show me only those accidents where it is considered as snow. You can look at the numbers, so it is only showing us as only for snow, right? With this, we have got our home page, and we got summary and detailed view. So now what we will be doing, we have to enable a navigation. So what we can actually do is, if anybody is clicking anywhere here, they should automatically get redirected to the next screen. So in order to do that, we'll go ahead and click on you can either do it by a shape, you can do it by a button. So I'm going to do it by a button. So we'll go ahead and add a blank button, and we're going to click on format, send it to back. Okay, let's do one thing. So let's go ahead and say the style of our button is, it should have ideally no transparencies, 100%. If I reduce it to 0, it shows this. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on remove. Instead, we're gonna click on add, and let's go ahead and add one shape. I'm gonna draw a shape over here, and for this shape, we'll make sure the style is set to none. It is set to none. We don't need a border. Let's turn off the border, and then Okay, so looks like the transparency is not getting removed. So we can go ahead and add another option which can say navigator, and we can go ahead and click on page navigator. And we can all add, for now I'm adding this as it requires some time for me to troubleshoot, but we can add individual elements over here and get navigated from here as well. So for now, considering the video is becoming lengthy, so I'm gonna make this navigation in such a way. If you click on it, let's say I'm going to click on control, and when you click on summary, this will automatically take you to summary, right? So let's go ahead and click on home page. So you can build a proper landing page, and you can add objects here also to go back to your home page as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and publish this dashboard to our PowerBI service. So how do we publish it? So we'll go ahead and click on home, click on publish. I'm going to save all the work I have done, and our workspace is demo 2026. Click on select, and now our work is completely done, and we are publishing our report to Power BI service. From here, all the end users would be able to access our report. So let's go ahead and open the report. You can see our dashboard has got a unique URL. So generally you can copy this, or you can publish as an app, and you can share this to all of your users. So let me go ahead and hit on refresh, and now you can see our dashboard has been loaded. If you don't need pages, you can hide that section. So by default, when our end user access our Power BI, the end users would look something like this. This is the landing page for our end users. From here they can click on summary. Let's see if the visuals are working as expected. You can see all the numbers are looking good. Let's verify slicers. Let's go ahead and select multiple values. I'm going to click on control. Let's select control shift. Now you can see I have selected multiple values, and it's all working as expected. So our slicers are working as expected. If I click on only show me those accidents where the weather condition was fine, you can see how the data is also getting filtered. And similarly, those accidents which are rural, I click on it, and you can. So typically when you build a dashboard in Excel, this level of interaction will be missing. We don't have this flexibility in Excel. That's the power of Power BI. Now, in addition to that, you can also have a complete web application kind of an experience where I'm selecting a March value. I'll go ahead and click on drill through to the detailed view, and you can see we are coming back to our accident log as well, right? So I hope this video was somewhere related. It was helpful for you. In case if you have any doubts, please comment, and if you like it, please click on like button, subscribe to this channel so that you will see many more videos like this. Till then, till we meet on the next video, see you soon. Have a nice day.